What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Man, it is Tuesday night. We are in the place to be. I'm going to let some folks pop on in here, let the room fill up a little bit. Suppose come on. I think our girl Robin is in here. I see carnivorous grandma in the building. I sense a carnivorous grandma.
I know. She
In
was
the building.
she was working out today.
Oh, yeah, she's always doing something there. I see you, Robin. That is awesome. Let the folks come on in. Come on in, folks. Make yourself comfortable.
Hello, Darth.
Yes, may the fat be with you. Our man, Darth Carnivore. I am here on a Tuesday, and family, if you want to grill it, kill it, or chill, if you grill, chill, or kill, that's what I say about you. If you want to grill, chill, or kill, I got Laura Russell with me today. She is my sister, my friend. We're gonna give you a round of applause.
Awesome.
I appreciate
So
you
I
spending
do.
time with me tonight.
Yeah, I do have to thank you. When we talked the other day, I told you I had bought a lamb leg roast without the bone, and I was like, I picked your brain a little on like how's some ways to do this.
Yeah, God help
And
you.
oh, no, it was perfect. It was the first bite, I was like, I'm not so sure. Because I eat primarily beef and
Yeah.
deer and stuff like that. I've had lamb chops,
Mhm.
but the more I ate it, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I got two of those because I'm gonna make another one next week, and we'll see. I might dress it up just a little.
Yeah, lamb is people sleep on it. I'm surprised, always surprised how many people tell me they've never had it. Which I'm like, these are carnivore people. Well, you never had lamb. I mean, there's only so many ruminant meats out there. I mean, it's not like there's a million of them.
Right.
So,
This is true.
I can understand if you've never had camel or giraffe. Okay, I got you on that. I get that. Okay, but lamb, I mean, it's in every store, So, yeah, we
Yeah.
grew up eating lamb chops and that kind of stuff, and I do like it. So you just roasted it. That's how you did. You just kind of slow
Yep.
roasted it.
I
And
stuffed it because they had taken the bone out of it, so I had
yeah.
taken some ribeye fat and put inside of it with some of the, Redmond smoked salt. It
Mm.
was and then I
You
just
took the net
covered
off
it.
of it and opened it up and did it that way. So you saw what I was talking about,
Yeah,
like there's a thin part and then there was like a thicker part. Yeah, yeah. So which one, you
yes.
make them both, or did you put one
I
side in the?
Oh, no. Are you kidding? You ought to see how much meat I can eat.
Gotcha. Dumb
I
question. What was I thinking? I was yeah.
No, I got good teeth, boy, I'm telling you. No, I my husband had like one, chunk off of it pretty good. I had that night, and then I've taken it for the last 2 days for my one meal a day for work. Sometimes I'll eat two, but the last couple I just really needed one only. So with that extra ribeye fat in there too, it was pretty tasty. So no, it was
Okay,
wonderful.
so
So
you opened it up, put some ribeye at it, and then closed it back up. So you didn't cut it. You didn't
I
like
didn't cut
separate it.
it. Nope.
Okay.
I actually put the fat inside. I put the salt in there, kind of pushed it together and put it down on that so it would stay kind of closed. And then just put the foil over the top, sealed it real good, put it in. And I actually did it on like 175 for like 5 hours because we were
Oh,
going places. Yeah. So I was
okay.
like, I better do it that way. But it was really good.
Yeah, yeah. Now, did you run into any of the tough fat that I told
I
you
did.
about? You run into a little bit of
I
that?
did.
I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
I guess if, again, I don't know what I'm talking about here, but I'll say so. But I'm just saying, uh, could you cut? Is there a way to cut that out, or is that kind of in the
I
meat
did.
too much to do?
It's in
I don't.
there pretty good, but since I mean, I do all my own deer, like I do all of my own processing. So if you've ever done that, it's really easy. Once you get in there and look at the meat, it's like, oh, I know where to get in and go around that. So I actually took some of that off and out before I even cooked it. So yeah,
Gotcha.
it wasn't very hard to get to. Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, I was. like I said, for me, I am not in any way, shape, or form anybody's cook or any kind of cook. So yeah, I God help you if you're taking any kind of instruction from me or anything like
It
that.
worked.
But I'm very glad that it worked out for you. I am
Yeah.
very, very glad about that, and I'm glad I was able to help in some small way.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it because I just was like, like I said, I had lamb chops before, but that's pretty simple. Cast
Yeah,
iron
yeah,
skillet, some tallow. But with something like that, I was like, ooh. And I had looked up some recipes and stuff, but everything called for a bunch of junk to be added to it. And I was like, I'm not doing that because I'll have nothing but trouble. So we're just gonna keep it plain, pretty light, pretty easy. And that's what we did. So
yeah. See
girls
now,
getting snow.
see, I know, you're very, but you don't do a whole lot with your like seasonings and stuff like that. See, but your man, see, I throw some hot sauce on that thing.
Yeah.
I might throw a little, I might throw a little Alfredo sauce on that thing. Listen, I'll dip it in something. I got some sugar-free barbecue sauces and different things that I use. So yeah, but I know
Yeah.
you just salted it down and
Yep. And ribeye fat. What kind of salsa do you use?
say it again. What kind of? You broke up a little bit.
What kind of salsa?
Oh, I get there's two different kinds I use. Kirkland Costco brand. It's
Yeah.
they have a couple organic, clean,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
seed oils or anything like that in there.
Because this is mine that I make.
Yes, I
Um,
know it.
yeah. And I think this summer I kind of plan on I'm gonna make some lamb tacos.
Oh,
Yes.
what?
And so I will be having some salsa with that, which it won't hurt me because I cook my
Gotcha.
salsa. I can't do raw salsa. It has to be cooked and then I do okay.
Yeah, yeah. I eat a lot of salsa and tomato. The tomato is my favorite fruit. It's the only fruit I pay money for. Well, the olive, I guess the olive technically is a fruit. I like black olives,
Yeah.
but I don't like any fruit really. Hey, Kim, my girl. Uh,
Having
I don't
tornado.
like any. Yeah, I don't like any fruits really. Never have. I just ate them because I thought I needed to. But tomatoes, I like tomato. I eat salsa pretty much in my ground beef all the time, or just I use the Rouse tomato sauce. It's pretty
Yep.
clean
Yep.
tomato sauce. I use that or salsa, one of the two for my ground beef. And yeah, I like sauces and seasonings. So that's how I get probably the most of my carbs through the through the week is from just different seasonings and condiments and sauces. So
Right.
some more people coming there. Oh Lord, hey, hide your ducks
Uh-oh.
and geese, family. If you got a duck or a goose, don't let it loose.
Duckman's here.
If you
Quack
got a
quack.
duck
What
or a
do
goose,
iguanas say?
yes. I don't know if anybody's got an iguana that's going to get loose, but if you got a duck or a goose, don't let it loose. It will end up in Charger Mopar's noose. All right. Good to see you, brother. My man will be with us next week. Listen, I got to give people a proper notification. The man himself, Charger Mopar, will be hosting with me next week. So go ahead and gird up your loins, people.
Be
he,
prepared.
yes, the Duck Slayer will be in the building. Man, I heard about some storms up that way. A friend of mine was traveling north from Alabama back to Ohio and said they were having tornadoes and all kind of stuff going on up there. So be careful up there. Be safe. Don't let anybody
Yep.
blow you away. As always, if you want to join us, we got the link in the chat. If you want to pop in and say hey, tell a story, crack a joke, make fun of me, whatever you want to do. It's all fun. We love to hang out, chop it up with the family. I got a little bit of news to share today. Kind of a cool day for me today. I got my blood drawn today. I'm going to reveal my blood work here, probably in my next video. And this time, just to switch gears a little bit, this time I got the NMR particle test.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Yep.
check that out. My LDL has been coming up since my last two blood tests, and my triglycerides are coming down. HDL is going up. Everything, both of my first test and my second test, a lot of improvements. This is from my second one to my third one, and so it's going to be interesting and fun to see. I'm looking my HDL, my triglyceride to HDL ratio was 2.1 last time, down from 2.6. I'm hoping to get under two. Obviously that's important. My fasting insulin didn't change from my first to my second blood test. It stayed the same. So I'm hoping it was 23 both times. So I want to get that down, of course. Hopefully that'll go down. Um, and so, those are the two really big things that my glucose and A1C, my A1C was 5, my glucose was 95. My
Perfect.
liver numbers went down. The first round of blood work, they were in the high 20s, 27, 29. They
Sure.
dropped down to 14 and 17, which I was
Okay.
happy about that, of course. So maybe get a little better liver numbers. Hopefully, the fasting insulin and triglycerides down. That's what I'm kind of looking for. But the really cool thing today was the nurse that I have the nurse come to my house. I use ownyourlabs.com. Shout out to Dave Feldman and his crew out there. Ownyourlabs.com. Folks, if your doctors won't give you the blood test that you want, or if you just don't want to go to a doctor, you want to get your own blood work done, you can go to ownyourlabs.com, choose what tests you want. They email you a form. You can take it into LabCorp, and they will email the blood test results directly to you. I've used that all 3 times, but I have a nurse actually come to the house. I pay, it costs extra, but I have a nurse come to the house and draw the blood at the house. Just simpler and easier for me. I don't have to stand in line and wait and all that kind of stuff. It's really pretty cool. Right at my kitchen table. So the nurse last time that came to draw my blood, of course, I'm pretty much always in evangelism mode. I'm always, hey, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. I think I heard somebody say that one time.
Right.
So I was evangelizing to her about getting my lab work done and the ketogenic living that I had been doing. It was my second round of blood work, and I was looking forward to improvement. Well, guess who shows up today? Um, to take my blood was the same nurse, and this was in November. This was around Thanksgiving time. I didn't recognize her when she got out of the car because her hair had changed and she had lost some weight. And I didn't recognize her until she got right up to the door where I could see her name tag. Crystal is her name. And shout out to her. She took my channel down and she's watching there. Hopefully watching. Shout out to Crystal. She did a great job. She's a great nurse. And um I didn't say anything because, I didn't really know her personally and I didn't want to offend her or anything like that. But I was thinking, man, she looks a lot different. She's a little cuter than she was last time she came there. Her
Mhm.
hair different and all that kind of stuff. And so I said something at the end. She drew the blood. Kind of said something. I said, you're a little cuter than you were last time, because we had struck up a little conversation. She said, I know. She said, not to thank you. She said, after I took, your blood last time, you told me what you were doing. I decided to try it, and it's made a world of difference. I feel so good. I've lost some weight. I said, I see. I said, I didn't want to say anything because, if I'd said, oh, looks like you lost some weight, you're like, no, I haven't. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Thanks for noticing.
yeah, but she was like, yeah, I decided to try it. And we ended up having a little conversation about that. And it just goes to show you never know when you're talking to people who's listening to you. It's happened to me so many times. People come back to me and say, hey, man, I tried this. It's working for me. It's helped me so much. I'm off my medications. I'm this, I'm that. Man, I mean, it blew me away that the nurse that drew my blood was listening to me and had done it and it changed her life. So, to all the folks out there like you, Laura, listen, I know you're out there, sis. You're doing the work. You're in so many different ways, but everybody out there, you have a voice, and
Yeah.
don't be afraid to share, with people what you're doing, how you do it. Some people listen, some people won't, but you never know who's listening, and you never know who will
Exactly.
start to listen after you've told them. They may not be sick right then and there, but
Right.
Maybe they get sick later, or they may have something else going on at the time, and it'll resonate with them later. So, um,
Well, and the thing is, with you doing that with her, and she took that. Now, as nurses, and Kim and anybody else in here that's a nurse, saying that a lot of us have heard when we were being taught in our nursing school is once you know better, you do better. And
yeah,
so once you know something, you can't unsee it. And so
yeah,
she will become a teacher as well. I'm sure
yeah,
Kim
yeah,
has done that with some of her. I
yeah,
mean, it just happens. It's natural. It's kind of organic.
yeah, yeah. No, it's awesome. Like I said, and it's a cool feeling, to know that you're making a difference with people, and that you know
Yeah,
that you can help somebody. Well, I think we have somebody coming up the driveway there.
we do.
Oh, look who it is!
Howdy, howdy, howdy. How y'all?
Carnivorous Scott, my man Scotty. How you doing, brother?
You know I'm okay for being who I am.
Yeah. well, I hear you, man. Well, you look good to me, man. It's always good to see you.
Hey,
Haven't
it's better
been a
than
few
being
weeks. Yep, 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 yep. I think you asked a question in the chat, but you wanted to ask in person. So hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Which last free liver were in the mid-20s? That's both of them. The answer is all of the above. Both my AST and ALT were 29 and 27 when I started.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I don't really know what they were at their highest because I did not,
Right.
just like my weight, because I did not weigh myself, nor did I did any blood work for 30 years. I got my blood work done at 53 years old. It's the first time I ever got blood work done in my life. So, and I weighed myself May the 22nd of 2023. It'd been 30 years. It was 1993 since the last time I weighed myself. So, and I was in ketosis when I weighed myself, if you can believe that, because I had been working towards that. And so I was 548 pounds at that time. That was in May of 2023. And then I got my first blood work done in July of 2023. That's when it was 29 and 27. I got it done again in just before Thanksgiving, as I recall, in November. And they came down to 14 and 17 during that span. And I've heard Dr. Lustig say this, and I certainly believe him, that if your numbers are in the mid to high 20s, you have fatty liver.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and there's a
Absolutely.
history of that, because if you look at a blood test now, the range is from 0 to 44. That's the good, you're okay if you're in there. But Dr. Lustig said in the 80s, they changed it. The scale used to be 0 to 25.
Yes.
And they changed it because people weren't dropping dead, and they had all these new medications and things. And of course, at that time as
Mhm.
well, if you had a number in the 20s, they thought you were a drunk. So, because they didn't know back then, that the liver, fatty liver could be metabolic as well as alcoholic. But they, of course, know a lot more now than they did in the 80s. So it's very interesting. But yeah, so if you got a number in the 20s, and the doctors will tell you it's fine. I mean, the doctors will tell you, oh, you got a AST and ALT at 31. Oh, you're okay. yeah,
We got a pill to help you.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'd say it's funny, but I just had some blood work done on the 19th of March. I
Get you
had,
past the insulin.
yeah. No, no,
I'm,
no, no. I didn't get my fasting insulin.
oh,
I was so
Scott.
upset about it. But this is a good story. This has goods and
All
bads.
right, all right, all
So
right.
here you got it's like conducting, right? The dealio is I went in and I got the test done, and my triglycerides was 79. That's good.
Good. Yeah.
My total cholesterol was only 216, with my LDL being 156. So my HDL was 44. So I don't do any exercise, so I really can't eat my way to better HDL. So I've incorporated some resistance training.
Sardines.
What's
Yeah.
that?
And fish. And fish. You could do like sardines,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. That would help. Mhm.
Okay, great. But my previous ALT had been 27 and now it was 41.
Yeah.
And I do have fatty liver and I've been fighting it for a hot minute, like 3 or 4 years. And 3 years ago, they came out and they said, winner, winner, chicken dinner. You look like you have portal vein hypertension.
Mhm.
So this is no bueno. So
Yeah.
I got scoped for that, and I have none of the varices or acetites or any of that. I may not have said those words correct, but I don't have
No,
any.
you did.
I don't have any of those things going on.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about maybe you can delineate. I did get sent to a liver doc, but we had the global pandemic come up, and I got dropped off the radar, like
Oh,
many people.
sure.
And so nothing was done. No diagnostics were done. No further diagnostics. And my portal vein is only supposed to be like 1.3 centimeters at max. And mine's
Right.
1.61 at max, 1.61.
Right. Yeah.
But I did some research. I am taller and larger than your average Joe at 6'5". So
Yeah. So that's normal for you.
that could be. So what I told
Mhm.
my doctor yesterday, so I had my annual VA appointment yesterday, and my doc was sitting there, and I was sitting there. We talked about the myriad of little things, and I said to her, "Ma'am, this is the year we're going to figure out. We're going to rule it in, or we're going to rule it out, and you're going to get the
Yeah.
diagnostics that we have to do to find out what that pressure is. Because see, the size of the whole thing is one thing, but what the pressure is, what we need to know."
Right.
And they got to do
Yeah.
that Doppler imaging, and they can do it, you know. But I
Mhm.
said, "We're going to rule it in or rule it out." And she's like, "Absolutely, right?"
Good.
And then she actually floored me because I took these tests that had all of these wonderful things, but and I had my glucose, which was like 97. But what
Mhm.
it didn't have for me is that fasting insulin. And I said,
Mhm.
"Is there any way we can do that?" She said, "Oh, absolutely." I said, "Can we do an ApoB?" "Sure." "Can we
Wow.
do a fractionated lipid panel?" And she
Yeah.
said, Okay, we'll do one." And I may not get the fully fractionated, but I will get the LDL, VDL,
Right.
all that.
Yep.
So
VLDL.
VLDL, thank you. So hey, I had the letter. This
It's
is
okay. It's all
Yeah,
right.
but answer me this a question for you, Scott.
Yeah.
So, what was your A1C, and what was your other liver number?
Well, I mean, I got a whole bunch of numbers here. Let me see what I got here. What when you said so my
Oh well, I thought you were rattling them off. I thought you meant I'm not
oh
trying to work.
no. I mean, I have them in multiple things, and I have all sorts of things. Nothing was off. The biggest thing I have problem with are my neutrophils at times are low. So
Mm,
a little bit of inflammation. I'm an asthmatic, so I have lots
gotcha.
of probably inflammatory responses within the body. But
Right.
I'll
Well,
look.
the thing I was just and Laura can I don't know the answer to this question. I'm guessing, and Laura, you can tell me in your opinion what you think about this. That number. I mean, he could still, depending on what his fasting is. Okay, that number could still be caused by insulin resistance, right?
Absolutely. That's
Okay, and
exactly what I was gonna say. His
yeah,
insulin,
because
I'm guessing, is still high.
right, because and then he gave another clue when he said his fasting glucose was 97.
Yes.
Because if you're metabolically healthy,
Yeah.
it should be 70s, 80s. Is that
Yeah. Yeah.
fasting
And
glucose? If
it can
you're
even be lower. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, can run in mine can run in like 50, 55.
Wow. What's
But I've
what's
been
what
doing it a long time.
I
Long time.
understand. But
Yeah.
is that
That's normal.
and you've been
Actually, if
doing
you
it a
go
long
back,
time and you are more carnivore than most.
right. But it was that way even just the first when I first started carnivore, and I was probably ketovore. But if you look at medical journals like I did back from the 1850s up to 1910, that was absolutely normal blood sugars was 50 to 60s because there wasn't the carbs, there wasn't
Gotcha.
everything wasn't, processed. You didn't have sugar at every meal unless you were super wealthy, and then they were probably sicker. But
What
so
is
that was normal.
your what's hypoglycemia? What's the number for hypo?
Well, that depends. If you want to go by our medical establishment, they'll tell you that anything below 60 is considered hypoglycemic. But at 55, I ran 12 miles and it
Mhm.
went down to, it was 56 and I went down to 55 after running 12 miles. So I wasn't hypoglycemic. I wasn't shaky. I wasn't, any of the things that you normally are. And so I think it's everybody's kind of unique in that. Most people can get to, 70s, 80s and feel just fine. But if you've been diabetic for a long time, then that's going to take a while for you to get to where that feels normal.
12 miles. What she just said, ladies and gentlemen, is she outran a deer. I can already tell you.
I
The
did.
reason she ran 12 miles is because the deer ran 11. I could.
I have been hit by a deer before, just so you know. I really have. Body, not my car, ran
Yeah.
into me.
Well, stay in the house. How about that?
That's why I have the treadmill.
So, what,
Unbelievable.
tell
Go
me
ahead, Scott.
what,
What were you saying?
tell me what a fasting insulin um, uh, would be with all those numbers. What do you think my fasting insulin would be?
What's your A1C? What's your
Yeah.
A1C?
All right, hold on, Maverick. It's cranky. I used to have all this stuff at the drop of my hat, at the drop of a hat here. I'm busy opening up all these different forms, but I think my A1C was right around 5.6.
Okay.
I would
So
say,
you're at the top range.
yeah, 20. I would say 25 to 30.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I would say too.
My insulin is 25 or 30?
Yeah, your fasting insulin is probably 25 to 30.
I've never had a fasting insulin over 6.1.
That doesn't add up.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
I don't deny it. That's why I'm in question.
huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If you
Yeah.
got A1C that high, I don't know how you can
Yeah.
have a fasting insulin of 6 and an A1. Your fasting insulin is lower than your A1C. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
that's why
That's yeah.
I'm checking for my updates. As you all chitty chatter. Matter of fact, I just had a big thing come down. So let me just look at it. I'm a VA patient.
I can tell you mine. The
Sure.
reason I said that is because it was kind of an educated guess because my fasting glucose is like 92, my A1C is 5, and my fasting insulin is 23.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my
Which
liver
is about
numbers
where you would expect it.
right. My liver numbers are 14 and 17.
So I did get my vitamin D from 27 up to 52.
Good.
I take about 6,000 units a day.
You take vitamin K with that?
Yes, I do. I'm a good little boy.
Good, good, good.
Like I said, my
That's
triglycerides
good.
is 79. I'm trying to look ALT, AST. Yeah, there's all that. Glucose was 93. My creatinine, something was good. Everything else looked good. Okay, here it is. My HbA1c. Is that what we're looking for, kind of?
Yep.
5.2.
Oh,
Wow.
that's not terrible.
So 5.2 there. But I have to go back a little bit to get to a my PSA was only 0.33, which was very happy for me.
Yes.
But the point is, the moral of the story is your body. And you tell me if I'm wrong there. Back me up on this, Laura, or shut me down. Your body is going to keep your numbers in a range because it has to. Otherwise you got serious problems. So, if the question is how much insulin is it taking to keep your number in the 90s and keep your A1C in the 5s? Because if you're metabolically healthy and that number is 6, that's great. If you're like me and not metabolically healthy and that number's 23, then I'm using roughly 4 times more insulin than you to keep those numbers in line. and that's the problem. Am I right about that, Laura?
You are right. And the other thing is when you are in a state of healing, plus having asthma, I'm an asthmatic, so we are always kind of bombarded with fighting off inflammation, eosinophils, things like that. Whether it's allergy induced, exercise induced, just the way you were born, that's the way I was born. Um, it can throw off some of those numbers. And so all of the numbers, and I don't mean to discourage people doing their labs, but you literally can do your labs today and
Mm-hmm.
do your labs tomorrow, and they could be like it was
Yeah.
two completely different people. So I tell people kind of listen to your body, see how you're feeling, see how you're going to the bathroom. Are you urinating fine? Everything's working like you want it to work. If that's the kind of things. But yeah, the hypertension, yeah, the portal hypertension, I would definitely keep on them, and they need to make sure and get the diagnostics done on that. Do you have high blood pressure?
No, I used to when I smoked and drank, but and didn't exercise and
Okay.
drank 3 pots of coffee a day, but we kind of figured that out quick.
Yeah.
I found my insulin, my last insulin, which was only in, again, I want to say the end of September last year, was 6.1.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Well, but yeah,
Interesting.
if you're, yeah, I mean, go ahead, Laura. You go, Laura. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I am surprised that your fasting insulin's that good.
Yeah.
With your the only other question I have to ask, the day that you had the blood work done, that they did your hemoglobin A1C and everything, were you fasted for 10, 12 hours? Did you exercise that day? Anything like that?
I would have probably been fasted for 16 hours. I try not to
Okay.
fast. I used to fast longer. Fasting for me is not an issue. But,
Me too.
I found that if I fasted too long, it skewed the numbers also. So I always try to go 12. So I got it done again today, and
Okay.
I'm gonna find out today, or I won't find it. I'll find out later this week, if perhaps. But I got the insulin, and I'm not sure what I'm looking for in my ApoB, but,
Yeah.
the only thing I'm focused on now is liver health. And
Yeah.
Right.
once I have an understanding that my liver health is good to
Yeah.
go, then I'm gonna go more into, resistance training, cardiovascular training, because I don't wanna say this too loud, I don't wanna say this too much, but I know the enemy that was sabotaging my liver, and its name was ethanol.
Whiskey. Whiskey.
Whiskey.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
don't like beer. I can't do beer or anything like that, but I have
No.
a couple drinks here and there. I'm not a fall down drunk or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I've been pouring myself into all I can, and I was just listening to something today from Dr. Benjamin Bickman, who is basically, you know,
Yes.
the
My guy.
the most authoritative
Biologist.
figure. And you don't have any other outcomes. Your liver converts it, has to prioritize it, and it stays as a fat in your liver. I go, well, there we go.
Well, that was the
Mhm.
next question I was going to ask is if you had I mean, you didn't have to answer it if you didn't want to. Of course, I guess it's kind of personal, but since we're talking about all our blood and everything, I was going to ask you if you had a history of any alcoholism or any of that kind of stuff. And
Well, I'm not going to go with alcoholism now because I'm under control and all that. I don't have any withdrawals. I don't have anything like that. But there
Right.
was a time in my youths, I was in the military, and that's a rite of passage. Um,
yeah,
downing handles, a couple each week, and a fifth each night was not unheard of. So I'm sure I didn't do myself any favors in that regard.
yeah. Well, we have a question there. I think you mentioned something about being asthmatic there, Laura. And One Hope for All says, I wonder if being a carnivore for a longer period of time will your asthma slowly go away.
I will say that mine, after being a carnivore for almost 5 years, is 80% better. I do still take a old World War II drug called theophylline for my asthma. Been around a long time, and they love to try to get you on, one of those new ones. But I do still take that. I do take a half of a tablet. It's supposed to be 300 milligrams twice a day, and I take 150. So I've been able to cut it down. I only take one. I use the Advair disc, which is a corticosteroid, and I only do one puff a day now, and it was two puffs twice a day. So all of that's been kept down, which is helps me with my prepping because now I have all these, Advair and all the stuff in
Mhm.
case the crap hits the fan. I've got enough to go for a few years. So
Yeah.
I
just in
still
case.
take
But
I still take
yeah,
daily singular.
yes, yeah,
Mm.
yep.
Shout
And
out
so
Arlene.
what I did in the beginning, as I started noticing my lung function was better, like when I was on the treadmill, and I'm never somebody. Once in a blue moon, I'll do those long runs, but they're not really healthy for you. So I just sometimes when you want to not injure the people that you work around or people in the world, so I'll get on there and run, but most of the time I do short bursts, like I do sprinting or stuff like that. But I noticed that I wasn't getting as winded, and then I started, not that I'm saying to do this, but I started kind of decreasing some of my asthma medicines to see if I could go down. And then I see my respiratory pulmonologist in Iowa City once a year, and she did my pulmonary function test, and she said, if I didn't know that you took any medication for asthma, I would not know that you have it because everything was great on the testing. So I do think that this way definitely helps. And I think as you are able to increase activity, I think that all helps. That helps the heart. It's going to help all the blood vessels. It just helps your body. You just have to be careful and not try to go gung ho and, do more than what your body's ready to do, or you'll be really sore. And none of us are 20. And I tore a Achilles. I know you're 25, but
Only one of us
yeah.
looks 20. It
Well,
ain't you,
but
Scott.
yeah,
So
tearing
I
an
used to drive
Achilles
through
is
Iowa
not
City a
fun.
lot. I used to drive through Iowa City a lot. When I lived in Omaha, and
Oh yeah.
I'd go to Illinois so frequently. So we drive through there a lot.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty.
live in the great state of Illinois.
Oh, lucky you.
Love it. Oh, ain't I
Hey,
lucky? I'm
it's
so lucky.
Big Ten country. You're all right. You're okay. Anywhere in Big
Oh,
Ten country is all right with me.
Well, I'm in North
I know.
Alabama.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got a few
Yeah.
folks. Simpsons here. I see Simpson. Arlene Blackwood. Good to see you, sis.
Yes.
Love you, sis.
Hello.
Karen Harrington. I can't remember if we said hey to her. She's definitely part of the family. I think my man
Yes.
Daryl. I don't know if I said hey to him, but good to see you, brother. Good to see you. So what's new with you
Oh,
on your
wow.
anything new on your channel there, Scott? Anything upcoming? Anything
The only thing I'm doing different, I'm trying to instigate or begin a midday programming. Um, a lot of people here have the nighttime, and when you're going up against the OGs, it's a little bit of a daunting, if not intimidating, task.
yeah.
So I started doing something about midday time frame. I get the friends. I get Graham over in South Africa, and I'll get some people from Australia, New Zealand. I'll get the retirees and folks like that in the middle of the day. I started a Facebook page to step up my game, so to speak. And I put a buy me a coffee link on my page. So outside of that, no, just trying to figure out what the process is and what the content's going to be, because there's so many doctors in the space and professionals and nurses. So reading the script of a PubMed thing, I think is not going to be very appealing. So I just do me, and
Hey, I couldn't agree with you more, brother. That's why we have a show about absolutely nothing. Come on in, hang out, and have a little fun, get to know each other. Have our little community, our little corner of the world. I can't out fact or out info or out, study any of those guys, man. I just come on here, act a fool, crack some jokes, hang out with my friends, maybe sing a song or two, and just try to have a place where we can unwind and kind of just decompress from all the ketosis and autophagy and what kind of meat do you eat? You know what I mean? So it's like, that's I'm with you on that. We need more places where we can just hang out. And if it comes up, it's part of our lives, of course. If it
Right.
comes up, talk about it. If somebody has something specific. Of course, my channel is kind of really geared towards the new people who may be struggling, people who are just confused and bewildered and defeated, maybe like I was for so long. People who are scared to even try it. They think we're all weirdos. That's the folks I want.
Mhm.
I want to talk to the people I want to talk to the guy with the bagel in his hand. That's the guy I want to talk to, not a bunch of folks patting themselves on the head talking about ribeyes.
Well,
Not anything wrong with that. I mean, it's great, but there's a lot of sick people out there, and if I'm here talking to a bunch of zero carb carnivores, I mean, we can have fun, but I don't know what we can learn from each other in that way. So it's kind of my feeling. And let's
well,
get yeah. If could you imagine that guy drunk?
No, the poor ducks.
You don't need to be drunk, man. You are as wild as you can. You're as wild as all outdoors, sober as a judge.
well, I tell you, one of the things I did add to my channel, and it'd be great to hear your all's input, is I'd like to think that we're much more than our dietary lifestyle.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so I'm trying, like, with the Facebook page, I put in a whole series of pictures. I did some photojournalist work with my church on mission down to Haiti, and I want
Wow.
to talk about the things we do that are integral to our lives as individuals, outside of just eating. That's a very important thing. It's the underpinning. But
Yeah,
I talk a lot about different things, and whatever is happening for the moment, we can talk about it, whether it's something in the artistic field or if it's something anything but politics. And I think politics is tough to talk about. And
yeah,
I having been a state rep before, I have a much different view than most people do, because
Mhm.
I think, like you might say, as a medical professional, until you're in that realm, you probably don't have a good
I don't know.
understanding, right? And I think a lot of people do
Yeah.
that. So other than politics, it's pretty much wide open.
Yeah.
yep. My thing is just laughter. I want people to laugh and smile. I want just that's the biggest thing for me is just to have a place where we can hang out, laugh, smile, get to know each other. I totally agree with you. We're more than what we eat. And even though this is an evangelistic effort, certainly if people have questions and things like that, we want to have that. But mostly it's just to have fun. You
Yeah.
know,
I like
if you want
prepping.
to
I
educate,
like to teach people about prepping
yeah,
too. Like that's,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I deer hunt. I love my
yeah,
guns. I love
yeah.
my bows, you know. So I always talk about that kind of stuff as well.
Do you
Yeah.
make pemmican?
Oh,
I'm going to answer a question that Paul was asking. He was asking about why I take that medication rather than one of the more modern. Two reasons. I work in the healthcare system. I call it the sick care system most of the time. And so I see the reps come in and want you to use this newest drug that maybe's been studied, and the FDA has approved it. Maybe it hasn't had very many studies, and the FDA still approves it. And I don't want to be a guinea pig. So I have tried a new medication before about 6 years ago. It ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks with pneumonia. Um, and so I was like, haven't had that the whole time since I was 11 years old taking Theophylline. I think we're going to go back to that. So, I'm one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm staying with what's been working for me. So that's why I just choose not to go on those new ones. Plus, it's cheap. It's so cheap to buy.
yeah, yeah. So it's, one hope for all said, I figure as much for the asthma because it's basically an allergy and is inflammatory. Am I right? Wrong?
No, no. Asthma, there's multiple kinds of asthma. There is exercise induced asthma. There is a lung condition that you can be born with where, like, even if you swallowed meconium, which is like the bowel movement inside the water, if they do that, that can cause interstitial asthma. And then you have the one that's due to allergies. And most people that have asthma have a little bit of both the exercise induced and the one because they have allergies. So
Yeah.
not just inflammatory.
Gotcha. We have a question from Cat Lady. Hello, Cat Lady. Do any of you use dairy in your carnivore diet? I'll answer this one last. Scott?
Okay, I do
Oh,
teeny bit of butter. Just a little bit of butter once in a blue moon, but I usually make ghee because I'm lactose intolerant. So I take the milk proteins out of it and just do the ghee. But I prefer tallow. I'll eat a spoonful of tallow over butter any day.
a question about that. Lactose is milk sugar, right? Because it
Mhm.
has the os. Is that, am I off on
Yep,
that?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we lost our guy Scott. Come on back in here, Scott. We lost you. I did not kick him out. I promised. I thought
Okay.
about it, but I didn't do it. No, but cream, they doesn't have any. Like milk has a bunch of carbs because it has the lactose in it, but cream doesn't have
Because
hardly any.
cream is more of the fat.
Right, right,
Cream
right.
is more, yeah. Mhm.
So can you eat cream, or does that give you problems too?
It still does have some of that in there. It does still have some of the sugar in it because you can take cream actually if you wanted to take whipping cream. And I know Russ, you're not ever going to do this, but this is something I did one time when I first went keto. No, and I put it in a pint jar. And at room temperature, I just sat there and I was like, I might as well get free exercise. And you make your own butter that way. So
Yeah,
it does have some sugar
yeah,
in it,
yeah.
but it's
Costco
okay.
makes my butter.
That's right. I knew you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, we ain't doing that. The
Mhm.
answer to the question is hell yes. Yeah. Hey, listen. I got cheese. I got heavy cream. I slow sip it like bourbon. And I put it in my coffee every day. I put it in my scrambled eggs. Heavy cream is nectar of the gods, family.
Mhm.
So yes, that is a yes. But in fairness, I have to say I am not carnivore by the textbook. I'm my own unique brand of carnivore. But I'm ketogenic. I'm ketogenic. So I'm not. If you're really trying to be strict, hardcore, carnivore, then I'm not exactly the guy to ask.
Yeah.
I season with vegetables. I don't really eat vegetables or fruits. Just season with them. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but yes,
And I think even most of the carnivores who are strict, like I do lion, and the only reason I do lion isn't not to be cool or to be like, Tarzan, I'm
yeah,
better. It's because I have all of those allergies. Because let
yeah,
me tell you, if I could have Gouda, I'd be in that kitchen right now. I would not be on here. I would be eating Gouda. But if
yeah,
I eat it, I know that I'm just going to be full. I'm going to be having trouble the next day. Otherwise, I absolutely would do the same thing. But I just have done this long enough that I've learned what things, you take in a little bit and you're like, oh crap, yep, there goes the joint inflammation. Okay, that's what it
yeah.
was. So yeah.
I'm lucky that way. I just don't. I don't have any of those things. But yes, I'm lucky. I know a lot of people do, and I'm all
Yeah.
about all ketogenic diets. If you're carnivore, lion, whatever you are, hey, this is a
You're
big tent.
ketogenic.
Absolutely, come one, come all. We're all about it
Yes.
here. But yes, I definitely use dairy, and now I'm using more dairy than probably ever before. Now that I got my chaffle game cranked up,
Yes,
so
that's right.
I that's kind of a new thing. I've talked about that. I'm gonna try to put a video together one of these days on that. I've got my own, just slightly different chaffle recipe that I've been doing, and so because I'm not really a big cheese person. I don't really like cheese very much unless it's with macaroni. So you know, but now that I'm doing the chaffles, I'm eating more cheese. But sour cream, heavy cream, butter, man, there's a trifecta right there. That I do a lot of that. So I think going down here, hey, I see somebody says, "Sing, Russ, sing." Okay, One Hope for All. You give me a song. If I know it, I'll sing it. How about that? We got Julia's here. Haven't seen you in a while. Julia, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. And anybody else we haven't seen? Of course, if you want to pop in, we got a little more time left here. If anybody wants to pop in and say hey or ask a question or crack a joke, that'll be great. Rick here, I'm a little behind on some of these chats.
Can I ask you, Scott, how long have you been doing your lifestyle?
So I had to restart. I did it last year for about 100 days, and then I met this thing called Halloween, and then Halloween rolled into Thanksgiving, it rolled into Christmas, and then I said I don't want to be a
Nice.
New Year's Day guy, so I didn't go off plan at all. I went off planet. I was washing my fruitcake down with eggnog. So yeah, it was ugly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in January, I started to give a large rodents rectum, and in February, I made it a priority. And so it's been whatever. I have to be careful. I could be very uh, uh, overly focused. I'm all in or I'm all out type of guy.
Oh,
And
that's yeah, me too.
so what I'm trying to
Yeah.
do, what I'm trying to do is be a little bit more forgiving and have a lot more continuity if you would. And
Yes.
so because again, with the PVT hanging over my head like Damocles sword, I've got I have an investment, let alone the 9 grandchildren, but
Yeah.
so it's all about making sure I'm making lifestyle choices I can maintain and not
Yeah.
trying to be overly aggressive.
I think that's very, very important. And I think, and not that I'm telling you what to do on your channel, but if I were you, that would be definitely something I would talk about a lot that you do, that where you're not overly zealous on yourself and you give yourself some leeway. Because I think in this, what I've seen, like with this group, is that people are like all or none. And I am that all or none personality. And it's what I make myself do. But I try not to interject that on other people because I don't expect that out of other people. My patients, spouse, kids. Well, I kind of did my kids, but that's just what they get for growing up with me. That's their choice. But so I think that's something that there isn't a lot out. You always hear, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. And that's so dogmatic that I think we chase people off when we do
Yeah,
that. So
no,
I
there's
think
no doubt
that would
about
be
it.
a good, yeah,
Especially when we go right to the lion diet, our meat heals
yes,
everything. Most of
yeah,
us, myself included, I mean, I'm much more carnivore than I present. I don't
right,
want this to be that. I want this to be big tent, come
right,
one, come all. Even if you never heard of
right.
keto, genic
Yes,
living, I want everybody in here. I want to just share our lives, and I want people to learn from each other. And I think the strength of our life is the diversity of the people in it, the people that eat dairy and that don't, and that drink coffee and
yep.
that don't, and that, you
And
know,
have an occasional vegetable. It's okay.
sure, yeah, and that we can, and people like me who literally do everything wrong. I snack, I eat late at night, I do all the things that you're not supposed to do, but I'm still down, 60 pounds, and my blood work is better. You're better off living a ketogenic life the wrong way than eating the standard
Right.
American diet. And I
Absolutely. Here.
I have changed so much, and I think most people have from the time I originally started to now. Man, my ketogenic living is so much different. So people slide up and down the scale, go back and forth,
Yeah.
and that's okay too. Man,
Yeah.
there might be weeks where I go, I'm hardcore carnivore for 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Then I have some tomato sauce or something like that, or have some salsa or something like that. Or have some vegetables maybe when I'm out. Just I don't dwell on it. The
Right.
important thing to me is to keep the main thing, and that is low carb, high fat, high protein. That's the core, that's the essence of ketogenic living. And whether that means steak and a few vegetables, or whether that means meat and water, or whether that means, you
Yep.
know, some low carb, fruits or whatever that means to you. High protein, high fat, low carbohydrate. That is the main thing. And that's certainly what I want to do the rest of my life. Shout out to Ellie. I see Elle out there. Good to see you, sis.
Yes.
Question. This is a question I've always had.
Yeah.
I don't understand exactly. Help me out, Laura, because you're like the best. People put butter in their coffee, but not
Oh,
cream. And I
yes,
don't
butter is
understand.
so good.
Because I'm like, that's like saying, well, I put water in my coffee, but not ice.
But cream is what they make butter with. So you're doing
That's
the
what I'm
liquid
saying.
version. I know, but you're doing the liquid version. They're just doing the butter, the solid version. And then if they use an immersion blender to do that, it emulsifies it into the coffee. That I don't even like coffee, but I can do that. That's good.
Okay, listen, when you're as good looking as me, you don't have to be that smart. Okay, so I'm I'm just I'm gonna ask this again, and I didn't get it. You probably said it, and I just didn't get it. I don't understand why somebody would say, "Oh, I'm not gonna put cream in my coffee, but I'll put butter in my coffee."
I can answer that.
Butter comes from cream. Is it flavor, or is it? Go ahead, either one of you. Yeah, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead,
so
Scott.
I'll give you two things. One of them is yes, flavor. Okay.
Okay.
The second one is chemically, and help me out. All right. A lot of people don't realize this. I've been on this bandwagon before. One of the components of the increase in eating a carnivorous diet is the increase in C18, which is stearic acid. Stearic acid has been proven and is now used as a treatment modality for people with Alzheimer's and mental diseases.
Brain injury.
Stearic acid, C18, there is a direct connect on your cells, and it goes directly to mitochondria and causes mitochondrial function to improve. So 3 hours after having a high stearic meal, your mitochondria going party all night long, right? Like it's 1984 or something. I mean, they really
ATP.
go at it.
They're building ATP
That's right.
constant.
So stearic acid, I think, is the magic juice in the carnivore diet that people are not getting enough of, because it's one of the very few fatty acids that has a direct mailbox on a mitochondria and on the cell. And I think we may not know why we eat it because it makes us feel good, but the why, I believe, is firmly rooted in the stearic acid. And I have pure stearic acid, and I mix it into things. It makes everything very, very greasy. It's very thick. They use it in makeup. They use it when they put it in chocolate, you can shine chocolate to a high shine.
Yes.
At room temperature, it goes back to solid, like solid for real, like soap solid. It barely melts in your coffee, and then it will leave a ring in your coffee pot or in your coffee cup. So anyway, it's a stearic acid, I think, that is adding something that we don't see at a much more fundamental layer. But the first layer is it just tastes good.
Okay, well, I still listen. I didn't get highly. I got stearic acid out of that. Okay, I was a D student, so it sounds like it's mostly flavor, because I thought the point was to get more fat in your diet. So whether you put cream in the coffee or butter in the coffee, it is fatty. And so but if people don't like the taste of cream, they prefer the saltier taste of. Although I know some people use unsalted butter, other things too. I don't, I don't understand what the difference is.
I've actually done both, Russ. I did that before I was, I mean, I knew I was lactose intolerant, but I was trying to fight it. I was clawing my way through it. And I did cream for a week in my coffee. And then I did butter for a week because I was like, all right, everybody's talking bulletproof coffee. Let's see what the hell's the hype. And I will tell you that I could feel like when that crossed the blood brain barrier, it was like bing, somebody turned that brain on, and I was like, oh, okay. So I actually did get more of that with the butter. I, I don't know why.
Yeah,
But
would
I
that be
really
hard
did
for me
feel
because
that.
I drink iced coffee, So I can't. If I put the butter in there, it'll clog up
Yeah,
my
you have
straw.
ice chunks.
Yeah, right. So I there's so much water and cream in my coffee. I don't need. People talk about coffee effects, and I'm like, there's too much water and cream in my coffee for it possibly to affect me. I don't think so. And I love sour
Some
cream
people
in
it
my
doesn't
ground beef.
bother. Yeah.
Yeah, I love sour. I love. Hey, shout out to Cranky. I like sour cream in my ground beef with salsa. It's funny. I haven't had lettuce or tomatoes in forever. I used to eat lettuce and tomato every day of my life, just about. Haven't had any. Well, I had a hamburger a couple months ago, so I guess technically I did. But in terms of like a salad, like a taco salad, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I should have a taco salad on camera and annoy some carnivore. I need to fire up the haters. I'm gonna get some lettuce and tomato and throw the ground beef, and I can just see the hate. How dare you defile our sacred ground beef with that shredded
You'll get
lettuce?
you'll get vegans and all of them alike.
No, they kind of leave me alone now. I think they know I'm just insane. So they're like, let him drown. He's a lost cause. But yeah, I don't. But yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think we have another. I think I heard somebody in the driveway. Yes, I think I heard somebody coming up the driveway. Look who it is!
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays, Julia. Where have you been hiding?
Busy, busy, busy.
Yes. Well, last time I saw you, you were pretty much in almost darkness. It looked like you've upgraded your background and your lights and stuff there. Look at you.
I got some light.
Yes, I love that.
Finally invested in those little lights. So
Yeah, we're having trouble hearing you. I don't know if you
let me turn up
you
my
got your
yeah, let me check.
microphone. We'll do some shout outs. Shout out to my girl Mary Bell. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hola, Maribel. ¿Cómo está? Bien?
Yes, that's my
Is
buddy.
that better?
Yes, that definitely is better. Keep going there.
Oh.
So tell us what you've been up to, what's going on, and how you've been. You're looking great. You're looking just radiant.
I've been doing a lot of painting. I'm an artist, so I do a lot of oil painting. And I just got a new car because, unfortunately, my wonderful Honda, which I love, I have a little Honda Fit, but it's so low to the ground, I kept smashing the bumper. I mean, because I live in the country, in the mountains. So I ended up stuck in a snowbank, almost flipped the car. And I said, okay, I've been so fortunate that I've had it since 2012. It's like letting go of an old friend. And I kept it really cherry, really nice. So I ended up getting a Subaru Crosstrek. And I've been working, I detail too. So I've been working on detailing it, vinyl wrapping it, fixing the chips in it and all that. So that's been keeping me really busy. And it looks really nice. So that's it, pretty much real busy with that stuff. So,
I love that. Yeah. Well, it's good to see you there.
Yeah, how's great to see you.
How's your channel going? And, any new videos? Anything exciting coming up there?
For me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't made any videos. I don't do that very much. Once in a blue moon, I might put a video of my work. But I really don't have a channel per se as far as that. The only thing you're going to find is maybe my carnivore interviews with other folks and just some of my artwork. So I'm just, that I know takes it, and I can certainly appreciate the time that it takes to do that, doing videos and putting one up every week and stuff. So I just don't have the time.
Yeah, I've been slow on that here too lately. I've been a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. Tax season, we started that, although that's wrapped up. And basically, my three heroes, my dad, my Pop Red, and my Uncle Joe, they're all down for the count right now with health problems. And so
sorry.
That's my big three right there. Those are the men that made me who I am in large measure. And
that takes a lot out of you when you go through health problems with loved ones. It really does.
Yeah. I got two in their 80s and one in his 90s, and it's just it's difficult, but it's all part of life, part of the circle of life. So
exactly. Exactly. But sending you a lot of love your way then for that. That's one day at a time.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. Rick says, Honda, you need a diesel truck.
Hey, listen, that Crosstrek, man, that gets through all kinds of stuff. It's a 2018, and I'm starting to really like it. I just got it like a couple weeks ago, and it was interesting. The little I did a lot of research with the homework guy on YouTube as far as how to buy a car. Saved myself close to about $7,000 of crap that they tried to stick me
Yeah.
with.
Yes.
I mean, I think for a first deal, it was about a B+, let's say. I could have done better, but they wore me down.
Yeah, they're professionals.
Yeah.
They do that for a living.
And I went up against the general manager, so I did all right.
Yeah.
I think they were glad to get rid of me.
Give her the car.
So what's new on the carnivore side? What have you been eating this week? I usually ask folks that what they've been eating this week. What have you been eating this week?
I'm pretty strict carnivore because I have emphysema, and if I eat any dairy, it causes inflammation. I get painful ankles. If I drink cream, and please have some for me because I love cream. It is like bourbon. It's like just But if I drink that, I get really violent coughing fits. And I was adding coffee to my cream pretty much. That's kind of how I did coffee. So I eliminated all that, and I just eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's it. And I do once in a while some shrimp. Once in a while, chicken, it doesn't agree with me. I get inflammation from it. Very sensitive to a lot of stuff I'm finding out. I do occasionally, though, I will have a pickle. Just a little, little sugar pickle now and then. Yeah.
It's fermented. That's
like
good.
Dinner. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, Julia, this is a guy that eats iguana toe jam. Don't listen.
You know what? That's okay. I eat eel.
Yeah.
I eat eel Italian, and they put them on a stick.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're so good. But I haven't had one in a long time. So it's all right, Rick. I mean, hey, I'm with you.
Don't listen to him about anything. The guy eats iguana toes. Okay. Don't listen to anything he has to say about what something tastes like or what. Yeah, I'm serious. The guy, he soaks duck beaks and drinks the juice from it. Okay.
Oh my God.
Duck beak stew. This is the duck beak stew. Leave him alone. Leave us alone, Rick.
Isn't that what they make hot dogs out of? Chicken lips and elbows?
Snake hips, I think. I don't know.
So,
And all the other parts.
I don't eat chicken hot dogs.
Oh man. No, I have a nice duck sitting in my freezer. And when it was Thanksgiving and everybody else was eating turkey, I just roasted that baby up and yum. That was it. It was so good. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the way they breed them or raise them now, because I'm finding that poultry generally causes inflammation. And like as an example of how carnivores benefited me, I used to get horrible swelling in my fingers, and I've broken this hand twice. I'm not the most graceful person in the world.
Listen, you told her once and you had to knock her out, didn't you? Tell the truth, Julie.
Right. That's right. You know it.
Yeah, it's like, listen, if you can't hear it, you're gonna feel it. And you gave that business. I understand, Julia. Yeah, she probably criticized one of your paintings or something, and you had to give her that.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Stretching vinyl, I'm learning how to vinyl wrap on cars, just doing the mirrors and things like that. And you gotta really pull and stretch and use your hand strength. And my hands didn't even hurt the next day. It's like a little sore at the end of the night, but I was like, man, I can't believe I have no pain. And I went to my acupuncturist today, and he said, how you feeling? I said, I got no pain, just a little soreness in my low back sometimes from coughing a lot. That's mainly the thing from when it gets windy, it kicks up all the dust and the mold and everything. But God, I can't begin to even list all the benefits since it's been 8 months.
Yeah.
I started July 17th, I believe, was my carniversary, so to speak. And I love your attitude, because it's like whatever works for people. I do what works. I'm so about that.
Absolutely. Listen, I just want people to get like I always talk about, keep the main thing, and let people find their way. And, I love everybody. I love all the ketogenic diets. There's a lane. It's like a big 6-lane super keto super highway. You got people in the fast lane in their Maseratis going 100 miles an hour. You got folks in the slow lane on their mopeds. You got folks in the ditch, you got flat tires. I mean, it's all part of it. And
the idea is to support each other, and just like, hey, keep going, and it's okay. My sister's doing ketovore right now, and she had a stroke. She's also special needs. She's got a head full of brain tumors, and she's got a lot of health issues. So she ended up having like a stroke combination seizure, something, and she had lost her speech. And putting her on a very strict keto diet, she's recovered her speech almost about, I'd say, 90%. Still finding words, but and her balance is better. She's not getting the tremors as bad as she used to, and she's lost weight. She was always trying to lose weight, and she's lost weight, and she's really doing well. And we found a beautiful group home for her with very loving, caring people, where she's living now, because she was living kind of on her own in a supervised apartment situation. And I can't tell you the difference with just the diet. She's clearer.
Yeah.
She remembers a little bit better. Her memory's kind of gone, but not like it was. I mean, she was on the hospital food. She couldn't even function.
Yeah.
Of course. And
I've been dealing with a lot of that lately. Boost and Ensure and Glucerna. I mean, just poison.
It's horrible.
Ingredients like canola oil, soybean oil, and sugar.
Exactly.
The hospital's giving you this. So I mean,
well, if you the food at the prisons, it's the same as it is in the hospitals. It's the same as it is at the schools. It's just junk, and it's the government food programs that they have out there.
Government, I'm here to
9
help.
million carbs a day.
Exactly. Reagan's famous lines.
I'm telling you, I'll tell you, my neighbors. I have these lovely neighbors that both been very sick. They're not that old either. Maybe in their their 50s, I guess. Anyway, I mean, one is a type 1 diabetic. He spent his whole life. His wife ended up with type 2. She ended up with some kind of an abscess on her leg. It wasn't healing. So anyway, they've seen me get better. And I said, try it out. Just buy, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Buy hamburger and cook it and just eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Well, she started healing. He started getting better. And it's been really wonderful to watch. Like, I don't think they even can believe it.
Yeah.
Because they're so fed up. They were ready. They're so fed up with the doctors telling them this and that, and nothing's working. I said, just give it a try. Try it for a month. You got nothing to lose,
That's what it takes for some people. It's they have to hit a certain point where they're willing to try anything. Exactly. As much as I hate to admit this, Rick might have actually said something interesting here.
Yeah.
Now, it led me to the question: what kind of chicken were you? What type of were you eating? White meat, dark meat, or all the above? And how were you preparing it? That's a good question. Thank you, Rick.
I was roasting it, just roasting it with salt, in my air fryer, and I was eating
white meat, dark meat.
I eat everything. I always eat mostly the dark meat. I like the dark meat the best.
It's fattier.
I roasted one of those little Cornish game hens, and my partner eats half, and I eat the other half, or sometimes just a chicken leg or something, and just air frying it. I will try it in lard. It probably tastes fantastic.
I've had a lot of patients that I work with, whether it be like my home health patients, that have kind of went onto the ketovore, kind of carnivore, and a lot of them that have trouble with like lactose tend to have trouble with the egg whites and chicken and turkey. There's something with the histamine. It causes a histamine response.
Yes. Oh my God, my nose.
But you can do the yolk, right through there and through the sinuses. So what I have been telling, like I work with quite a few VA patients for home health, and and I'm always like, okay, I know you don't want to waste the egg white, so you can give that to the outside cat. but separate that out and eat the yolks, and they don't have any trouble when they're doing that with the
That's
yolks. So
wonderful.
that's something that we did with them, but they said the same thing. The ones that can't do the milk really have trouble with that histamine response.
Interesting. And it's got to be the feed that they give them and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
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 So you may be right about that.
Corn, all that wonderful
Yep.
stuff. Chemically laced food, layer pellets.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
dad's
Little
just now getting
glyphosate.
on home health.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, so my dad, he's a 89-year-old Army retiree, and he's just now getting on home health. He went 40 years without going to the VA, and now
Wow.
we
Wow.
finally got him enrolled, and that's really working. And we're trying to get my sister to be his provider, in-home provider.
Sure.
Right.
So still
Yeah.
going through that process right now. But
Yeah.
up until about a year ago, the guy was buck wild, strong, going at it. But
Yeah.
he stopped moving. He got an injury in an ankle, and the rust set in pretty hard. So
Sure.
do what we can. But one of the first things I did, my sister was very helpful. That is, we got him on a better diet and given a little bit more MCT oil.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is really helping him a whole bunch. And we got him
Absolutely.
that vibrating plate that you see
Yep.
people
Shake
use.
plate.
Yep. I got him one of those sent because I watched Bill Knott up in Alaska talking about
Yes.
it. Because my dad was having a problem with some edema in his lower legs. And we got it.
Oh,
And I had no idea how big that thing is. It's a bigger footprint than you think.
Yeah.
Well, my
It
dad
is.
loves the thing. He's doing up to 3 15-minute sessions a day.
wonderful.
What he's done to get a secondary help is
Mhm.
put his hands on his legs.
Hmm.
And it'll do the upper body.
He get in the
Yep.
upper body, and my sister says he's
Yeah.
getting stronger and more confident
That's
in his
fantastic.
movement, which was really important.
Yeah.
Because,
Balance.
Wow.
yeah, he just got
I
to
bet that would
balance.
help my sister out too.
And only $77. I got the smaller one, not the great big
Yeah.
one.
It's Life Pro.
Yeah,
Life
yeah.
Pros, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the MCT oil is amazing. I
Huh.
have patients that we worked with that were Alzheimer's dementia unit back, and we were doing MCT oil in their coffee and doing an immersion blender, to blend it in. And it was amazing the number of them that were starting to remember their children's names that they hadn't remembered in years, writing down recipes that were family recipes that they thought they were gone because the person, and they
That's
still
amazing.
are doing that practice at that nursing home. So it's
That's
hard to get in
fantastic.
there because those people are getting better and they're living longer.
Well, now
So
Russ, I'm going to interject real quick. Is the action that's happening there with the MCT, that medium chain triglyceride, it's promoting a more rapid uptick in the ketones being
ketones.
produced, and thereby also helping to burn out the amyloid plaques, and therefore the routes
Absolutely.
available. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Wow.
Yep.
I've also
Absolutely.
heard
Because
I've heard MCT oil is pretty amazing too if you want to poop yourself.
Yes.
if you overdo it, you have to start out baby
Small, right.
steps because it will.
I feel like I need to warn the people. I need to warn the people now. They'll be out there swigging MCT oil like
No.
moonshine. And then it'll be clean up on aisle 3, and then they
As
don't
nurses
understand.
say, code brown.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Not good.
I just want to warn people. Yeah, just got a little bits there. Or, yes, you're gonna have some calories that you don't want.
More of that for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good. And your sister probably would benefit from that. With brain injuries, it was something that was used in the 20s and 30s with children that had epilepsy, as well as the keto diet.
Yes.
And somewhere it got forgotten, or wait, they couldn't make money off of it.
No, it's called
And
Ansel
so-
Keys. Ansel Keys.
Yes, yes.
But
And
you
so
also have
they,
But you
Yeah.
also have the purists in the carnivore world say, but that's
Yeah.
plant-based because it's from coconut oil, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, c'est la
Yeah.
vie, brother.
You know what? I'm
Yeah.
an herbalist. I
Yeah.
studied herbalism for like 4 years. on how to make
Yeah.
all kinds of medicinal things, I'll use them.
Yes.
You know,
Let
plants.
food be thy medicine
Let
and
food be
medicine be
right.
thy food.
And actually, the original term for pharmacy is pharmakon, which means
Yes.
poison, but it's poison that actually can benefit. It's
Does
sort of a
something.
homeopathic idea. And
Yeah.
plants, I mean, that's what the natives used to do. They'd use plants for things, for
Mhm.
healing purposes.
They would roll
I
them
make
up and then
oregano.
smoke
I make
You go, right?
I make oregano oil. I have elderberry tinctures that I make. I do thyme oil. I grind my own stuff. And I had somebody come at me. She says, "Well, you do the lion diet and you're going to take oregano oil." I said, "This time of year, I
Yeah.
get sinus infections easily." And I said, "Yes, I am."
It
And
boosts
she
your
goes,
immune
"Well,
system big
well,
time.
be a lion." Yes.
Hey, listen,
And I
I'm
said,
Italian
"I
and I
don't
use
care."
garlic. Garlic is like my go-to.
Yeah,
If I'm sick, I had some
absolutely.
kind of weird flu or something like 5 weeks ago, and it took a little combination of ginger and garlic, kicked that thing
Yep.
right out of me.
Oh,
But there's,
actually, I have honey garlic.
I make
gonna say,
fermented honey garlic.
I think
Yeah,
you just solved
that's
your
good
own
stuff.
problem there, Julia. You need to get that chicken and garlic it up and knock it
Maybe
down.
so.
There you go. Hey, listen, if you take the poison with the medicine, it's kind of gotta,
You got
get
a
on
good
there. Yeah, it's like you eat the shrimp with the Benadryl. That's just
It used to be
in
Dimetapp.
lard though. I think that because Rick was just saying he gets a really bad stomachache from roasting it. So
yeah.
something about cooking it in lard.
Yeah.
Just listen. The guy drinks water that comes down off rainwater off of his roof. Okay, he can't know whether or not that's causing that. This guy, come on, man. Yeah, that's my guy, man. Rick is my guy. And we're next week. I don't want to overhype it. It might be a letdown, but it's going to be a special kind of nuts next week with me and that dude. You want to see two world class clowns? Tune in next week for me and Carnival.
I'll be there.
Me and Carnival Charger Mopar.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, we are gonna wrap it up here with my ride or die, my girl Nurse Kim. We are gonna wrap it up with a question from her.
Yep.
What do
So,
you use oregano oil for? I use it for chronic candida every now and then.
right. I personally use oregano oil. I've used it with my grandchildren, patients, is like ear infections, sinus infections. It can even help with strep throat. I've had people use it for that. And it's just all around good to help your immune system. So I recommend people taking it like if they're going on a flight and they're going to be stuck in, an airplane with all these other people. Boost your immune system ahead of time.
Yes.
Be ready.
Boost that
Yeah.
immune
So that's
system.
what I use it for.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, family. We have fulfilled our contractual obligations for the week. As always, want to thank everybody for watching, everybody for hanging out with us today. We have so much fun here. I want to thank Julia for coming in, my man Carnivore Scott for coming in, my sister Laura Russell. I had to listen. I had to pause for that because I had to get. I had to give you that anticipatory pause there. Such a wealth of knowledge, so incredibly awesome. I can't thank you enough for joining me. She'll be back. She's part of the family now. You will see her again, whether she wants to or not. She has no choice in the matter.
Kicking and screaming.
Yes, but hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I want to encourage you, uplift you. Keep on keeping on. Stay on this keto road with us. And we will see you next week on another edition of the Keto Cookout. We grilling, baby.
We grilling.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
We be grilling.